Joy Crookes, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. You've made it onto the MTV Push Ones to Watch shortlist for 2020. How does that feel?
It feels great. I used to watch MTV a lot when I was a kid, so it feels very fun to be part of it now.
Absolutely. Was it a surprise?
Yeah, I kind of thought they must have got the name wrong.
I mean, last year Lewis Capaldi won it. He's gone on to big things.
Yeah.
You know, is that something?
Who knows? Maybe I'll make a huge ballad and go around with lots of sunglasses and have the best content game and just end up being like a brown version of Lewis Capaldi.
All is possible. Are you a fan?
Yeah, I like him. He's funny.
Yeah, he is a funny guy. I mean, how would you sum up your musical style?
Lyrical, honest, eclectic.
What's next on the release schedule?
I'm writing an album at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, how's that going?
You know. How does anyone's first album go? I feel like you are writing your first album until it's out. Does that make sense?
Have you got a lot completed, or
Yeah, I mean, like I released 2 EPs and 2 singles, so I released like 12 songs this year. So I'm not going to let all of them go. I'm definitely going to rejig them onto the album. But so that's how I know what it feels like to finish things off. But now it's connecting the dots and finishing the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I do, and I don't know what it feels like. Like I said, you are constantly writing your first album until it's out.
When are you going to know when it's ready?
I don't know. Hopefully it'll be like a bun in the oven. It'll just
Ping.
be the right time.
I mean, you know, have your Bangladeshi and Irish identities helped you as a musician and as a poet?
I don't know. Probably. I'd like to think so. Be a pretty waste of race, wouldn't it?
I mean, where were you brought up and where are you based now?
I was brought up in Elephant and Castle, and I'm based in Elephant and Castle now. Yeah.
Still home? Good.
Full circle.
Who have you looked up to in your life, heroes in music?
I've looked up to so many people. I always say the obvious, like Nina Simone and Billie Holiday, and like I love the Pogues as well. But like people like Lou Reed, I really like Lou Reed, his Transformer album. Prince, I love great musicians basically.
Yeah. I mean, when did you first know that music was going to be your thing?
I didn't. It's kind of like a happy accident. Yeah. I just didn't. I had no idea. I didn't really like sit down and go, right, well, I'm going to become a musician. It just kind of happened. It was just fun. I probably should have thought, you're into this, but because I was so young, I just didn't really think. And also having that pressure of telling yourself, this is your vocation. It's just like I wasn't really, just not planned for that.
You know, you must have also thought, you know, I'm pretty good at this. Or other people sort of telling you that.
I still fail to think that to this day, but you know, get invited to these MTV things and a little bit of validation here and there doesn't hurt.
Certainly. And do you prefer sort of playing live, studio work?
I love playing live. I love the studio when it's going right. When the studio's going wrong, I feel like I'm in a box that has no windows. And I feel weird.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
December election looming. If you were Prime Minister, what would be your sort of central policy?
My central policy would be to have a second referendum.
Yeah. And what's your live schedule looking like for next year, 2020?
It's looking kind of busy, even though nothing's announced. But when it is announced, I think it will be quite a shock. Got to just find a way to design a poster that can fit a few of those gigs on there, don't we?
What are your musical ambitions?
My musical ambition is to be content. And I know that sounds weird, but I mean, when you get to a point in your job, whatever you do, I think there is a point where you're like, this is me and this is how I express, or this is how I find my flow, whether that means you're a butcher or a musician or a painter or whatever you are, or an architect, whatever. I think there's this point where and I do have it in some ways now, but I just think that there's a point where your feet are rooted into the ground of the job that you're in, and that is what you do, and you know you're never going to turn back, and it's like stability, but to like the most profound level. And that's what I want in music. I really, really want longevity, and I think the only way to achieve longevity is to have that assurance. And whether that be in like 10 years, 15 years, I think you're always going to be challenged in an industry like this, but I feel like you need that assurance to achieve longevity. And I think that the main goal for me is longevity. I'm not a huge fan of hype, and hype doesn't really like me either. Doesn't like me. I definitely have been working very, very hard and seeing how people are interested now that I may have tried to approach when I was at another point, and it kind of, you know, it's taken. I'd rather be someone that proves someone wrong as opposed to gets silver plattered.
Yeah, absolutely.
To wherever. I like working hard. I like challenges. I enjoy that.
Good,
and I don't want that to go, because that means that the fun's gone if I'm not being challenged.
Well, you're in the right industry for being challenged.
You're telling me.
Thanks a lot for your time. It's been great. For somebody that hasn't come across you yet, what songs would you say check these out online? They sum me up as an artist.
I'd say check out the music videos, because the generation we live in has a very, very bad attention span. So if there's something there wavering at you while the music's playing, you just might get a little bit attached.
Excellent. Thanks a lot for your time. Anything else to say to music news watchers out there?
Buy vinyls. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.